When you first click on your Zoom account, you will be taken to your profile. So the first thing I want to look at here is how to schedule a meeting. You'll see the schedule a meeting button up here at the top. You can click on that and set up your settings for a meeting. So I'm going to put a topic in here. Let's say I want to hold office hours. You can give a description if you would like. You're going to put in a date and time. Zoom does not hold you to this, so I could start a meeting early. I could go past the time, but this is just for information for your students so they know when the meeting is taking place. Again, the duration is not hard and fast either. You could go over, you could set up a recurring meeting. So if you wanted to maybe have your office hours every week on the same day and time, you could set that up, and then the students will just use that same Zoom link all semester or however often you're having that. So we could say it's going to be weekly, it's going to be once a week on Thursdays, and then you can set an end date. You could require registration, so the students will have to register beforehand, and then they will get an email that contains the link. You can set up a passcode, and you can also set a waiting room. So the waiting room is going to be a place where your students will enter before the meeting starts. You'll be able to see who is in the waiting room, and you'll need to admit them when you're ready. This is a security setting so that you can make sure that there isn't anybody in the meeting that is not supposed to be there. And it gives you more control over who is actually accessing the meeting. I have my default set so that my video is set to off, and so it are my participants' video. You could change that as well. I usually recommend allowing both computer audio or telephone in case somebody is having audio issues. They can always call in instead of using their built-in speakers and microphone. Under meeting options, you've got some different options here. We won't go over all of them, but I do like to mute the participants upon entry. It kind of helps to cut down on the background noise. You can pre-assign breakout rooms. So if you wanted to, you could have a list of your students' email addresses, and you can actually import it with a CSV file, download the template. So basically there's going to be one column that has the name of the breakout room, and then the second column has the email address of the participant. So if you wanted to set that up ahead of time, you could do that. And then I usually like to go ahead and click to automatically record a meeting. You could always stop the recording if you would like. And then you also can choose where you would like the recording to be stored. So you can store it on your computer, or you can store it in the cloud where it will be stored for 2 weeks. So the example that I'm going to do today, I'm going to actually store it in the cloud. That way I can show you how to download it onto your computer, as well as how to send a link to students. So I'm going to go ahead and click save on my meeting. If at any time I needed to edit the meeting, I can always click on my meetings tab. I'll see a list of any meetings that I have coming up, and I can hover over the meeting and I can click start when I'm ready to start it. I can also edit any of the settings. I can delete the meeting if I need to from here as well. If you're looking where to set your default settings that are going to automatically be set for all of your Zoom meetings, that's going to be in this settings area here. So you'll see a lot of the same settings that are there for individual meetings, but this is just where you can set the ones that you want to have in place already for each meeting. So again, the waiting room, I have it turned on by default. There are a ton of settings here, so we're not going to go over all of them, but just know that you can go through the different topics for the types of settings are over here. So these have to do with scheduling a meeting. These are your security settings. You also have the settings for when you are in a meeting, the basic settings. One thing I do want to show quickly, because everyone always wants to know about this, under this in-meeting advanced settings is where you can turn on the virtual background. So a lot of people like to use that. Doesn't work on every computer, but you could always turn this on if you want to be able to use a virtual background in your meetings.